than any police department, agency, sponsor, or employer. Two Cops, One Donut isn't responsible for anything said by guests or for any videos, clips, or content shown during the live stream. This show is intended for adult audiences only. We cover real incidents, we show graphic and sometimes disturbing footage, and we don't shy away from strong language or adult conversations. There may or may not also be alcohol involved. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Everything you hear or see on the show is for entertainment and educational purposes. It is not legal advice, and it's not tactical instruction, and it shouldn't be used for such. By continuing to watch, you're telling us that you understand, you accept all this. All right, now let's get into it. All right, welcome back. Two Cops, One Donut. As you can see, it's just me, the one cop. For those that are new to this platform or don't understand, why the hell does he always call it Two Cops, One Donut when it's only just him? Sometimes I have other cops on, sometimes I don't. It's because I'm two cops. I'm a military cop and I'm a civilian cop. So that's where me and my other personality, that's where we got the name from. Today, obviously, for those that don't know as well, I'm on my military orders, so I can't have a regular life. I can't have a regular time for my live stream right now, so I'm trying to find time when I can. And I was sitting in my little barracks dorm room, and I was like, I got time. Let's get one going. So that's what I'm doing. I decided to jump on, and one of the questions I'm trying to figure out right now is I'm always trying to jump on live with my Instagram and trying to jump on live with my TikTok. This is kind of my new things. I'm also trying to get Rumble into the play. I don't have it going yet, so don't look for it today. I'm looking over at Instagram. I'm going to try to say this name. Flylax TG asked, where am I from? I currently reside in Texas. I've lived in Texas the last 12, 13 years, something like that. But I'm from Flint, Michigan originally. Got out of there as quick as the military would let me. Flint is a lot like the Matrix. You just don't realize. I mean, if you were born there, if you're born in the Matrix, like, you don't know any better until you get out of there. So the military saved my life as far as that goes. But no, I was flipping through. I got nothing to do today, so I was flipping through and I saw a podcast topic about police strikes. What would happen if the police went on strike? So that's one of the things I kind of wanted to discuss with everybody. I am Kelly Will, says KS here. What's going on? Oh, Kansas is what they mean. Welcome, Kansas. When do you guys do live on YouTube? Now, normally, American Cop Patriot, I see over on Instagram. Normally, when we do these, it's Sunday nights right now, because that's just how my schedule works out. It used to be, for a few years, it was Tuesday nights, but then I got a new position. So now it's Sunday nights. The life of a first responder, your schedule changes all the time. So right now, Sundays at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern at night. Your lead graphic has typos. I will catch them, Mr. Billfold. Steve Wallace in the house. What's going on? You know what? If I didn't put things on there for you guys to point out, you wouldn't have anything to complain about. Like, sometimes I strategically put typos in to get attention. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I did on that one. No, you just caught a typo. I will put typos on my reels all the time. It is hilarious watching people go nuts over that. Brandar said, looks like the ice cream helped. Yeah. So for those that don't know, I had a tetanus shot yesterday. My 10 years was up. I was due. The military was like, go get your tetanus shot. So I did. And holy shit, did it mess me up. I was fine. The day I got it, I went and got it at 1:30 in the afternoon. And then Then I went and timed myself for a PT run. I wanted to see how well my 2 mile was. Now, let me give you a little preview of me. I am 195 pounds. I'm 5'11". I got about a 33-inch waist. I ran my 2 mile in about 17:30. I don't know. I'm 43 years old. I don't know if that's a good time for the new military standards. I don't know. So I was reaching out to people and they're like, that's a pretty good time. Now, obviously, the youngsters were like, bro, if you're not sub 14, then you're not training hard enough. I was laughing like, all right, fair enough. I train a lot, but I can't. Nothing I can do about that one. So American Cop Patriot says, I've been missing them and I was frustrated. Got to have lessons from the best cop. Oh, you're too sweet. Definitely not the best cop. I am Kelly said, I had to get a tetanus shot when 2 nails ripped through my leg falling out of a treehouse on the 4th of July. Well, you better get better footing. Jeremy Willingham, shave that thing on your upper lip, soldier. Hey, man. Hey, I got to have some sort of man makeup. That's the best I can do. Because believe it or not, I look even more ridiculous without it. But as soon as I get done with these military orders, I am going to be jumping on and growing my beard back out. This is one day of facial hair growth. It's not too bad. So, I am Kelly said, yeah, I'm not going to say alcohol wasn't involved. 4th of July, I mean, it makes sense. Nothing more patriotic, though, and American than falling out of your treehouse on the 4th of July while you were drinking. Badge 502 plot twist. It gave him the tetanus. Oh yeah, so that was the point I was getting to. The next day, holy shit, my body did not like that tetanus shot. I had a low-grade fever. I had no energy. My whole body ached. Luckily, I was off that day for work here, and I laid in bed for 24 hours, minus the 15 minutes I took to go about 0.9 miles in my truck and grab an ice cream because I don't know why, felt like I needed it. I went and got an ice cream. And it really did make me feel a little better for a little bit because I hadn't eaten anything that day. I just didn't have an appetite. I really haven't eaten much today either. I had a little bit of beef jerky, and now I'm drinking a beer. So, babyface sergeant without the beard. Yeah, I look ridiculous without my beard. It's so funny. I went so many years without a beard, and then, damn, is that normal? I don't recall that happening to me. Believe it or not, yeah, it's a common reaction. I had to look it up, and I talked to a couple medical professional friends, and they're like, "Yep, that happens. Could be 2 to 3 days. You should be good." Some people have had it for up to a year. Contact and cover, dude. Why don't you ever hit me up to be on the pod when I'm off? It's Montero. Sorry, bro. Man, the amount of people that, and I know Montero's just jacking with me, but the amount of people that get mad when I don't respond. I have set myself up for failure. I try to respond to everybody, and setting that standard now has people that get pissed off at me, and they think I'm ducking them when I don't reach out or I don't respond to something. I'm like, y'all, this is not a brag, but there is 500,000 followers across all of our platforms. If I'm chatting on YouTube for a few minutes, I usually break it down. I'll do about 15 minutes on YouTube. I'll jump over to Clapper and do 15 minutes on Clapper and then jump over to Instagram and do 15 minutes. I usually spend most of my time on Instagram, actually, because that's where I have the most engagement. But Facebook, TikTok, I just jump to all of these different platforms to respond. By the time that's done, it's a couple hours, y'all. So if I don't see your comment while I happen to be right there, like it just happens that way. Like, I'm sorry. I try. I do try. I don't shy away from a conversation. I don't think I have that reputation. One of the comments, I won't say their name because I don't think they were trying to be malicious about it, but they were just like saying that I'm obviously not acknowledging my bias. And I think I've set a reputation as well for always acknowledging my bias. One, I will never say that I'm not biased. I do think I have an implicit bias just because I've been a cop for so long. That's why I do the platform, and I have so many not so pro. I don't want an echo chamber. I don't want that amount of people just feeding into that bias. I want the people that aren't so much there. But it's a tactical tequila said it's a 70 stash for sure. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's respect. But my point being is I didn't want an echo chamber, and that's part of the reasons why I never ban people. Almost never. I want the tough conversations. I will go at all of them. And if I reach a point where I just don't think I'm going to get anywhere, I'll let you know. I'll just be like, look, I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree. It doesn't mean that we still can't talk and talk about other topics together. I hope people just leave because I don't like what they had to say or we don't agree. But shit, guys. Oh shit, my mods jumped out. I didn't tell my mods or anything. So Marine's on here. Mr. Billfold said, I take no part in vaccinations. My sons grew up big and strong without them. Hey, man, I don't have a choice. The military is like, okay, well, I do have a choice. They'd be like, you either take this or you'll be booted out. And I'm like, I don't want that smoke. I like my cheap insurance. Rip, Steve Ladner. Yeah. There's two things. There's things that will get you banned. Being racist, that'll get you banned. That'll just get you outright banned. There's no warning, no nothing. If you come in being racist, you're gone. Inciting or promoting violence, I'll give you warnings on that. Hey, come on, relax. Don't do that. And I'll tell them, I'll ban you. And then character things. Like, I don't mind. You call me all the names in the world. Pig, 5-0, ACAB, whatever it is. I don't care. Call me names. Don't lie about character. Don't lie about things. If you start lying and trying to actually attack the character of my platform and me, that's another thing. And I'll still give you warnings. I'm a fair dude. If you apologize and say, my bad, I just got heated. It was an emotional conversation, and then that's what I said. I get it. I've been in your shoes. I've been there before. We all have. But I sure as shit am not going to stand by and let you continue to lie about me and stuff like that. Because if it's true, I'll let you know. I'll tell you, yeah, it's true. But if you're lying about me, I don't like that. You need an AI clone, Steel Derek said. I know, right? Oh, shit. So, yeah, let's talk about police strike. I don't even have my timer on here because I'm on a small screen. 12. We're at 13 minutes. We're about 15 minutes in. Yeah, so let's talk about police strikes. What would the fallout be? What is your guys' opinion? So I want you guys to start getting in the comments. Would you be mad if the police went on strike? Do you think there will be a difference? Do you think that's a possibility that police strike? Is it a concern? If you're a pro-cop, anti-cop, or somebody that's just in the middle, what do you think about police going on strike? Do you think there's going to be a time when police are pushed to that point that they may have to go on strike? I think it is a testament to policing, and this is not to cops explain or be, I still have that cough, or be, blow the blue. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying, I think it's a testament to all of the stuff that has happened in policing over the years that they haven't gone on strike. Like in a major, maybe there's been some outliers, but majorly, blue flu, whatever you want to call it. I'm just curious what you guys think. I want to get that conversation going. I want to see, do you think it's a possibility? Do you think cops may go on strike sometime soon? Do you think that's in the next 10 years, that's something that we may see? Smoke Indica said, on strike for more money or to stop corruption? Whatever it is. What if they go on strike for not enough money, for people shitting on them? Some cities that's what they do. They just shit on their police department. I left one of those cities. I'm in a city that supports where I'm at. It's amazing. It makes me want to, anytime I see a bad cop, go above and beyond, because I don't want them to ruin it for me. But in cities that shit on cops, sometimes the mentality for police is it doesn't matter what I do. Could be doing all the right things. And as soon as one thing that can even be remotely looked at, those those good deposits don't matter. Now everything is corrupt and da 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 da, and it just get back on. I think we're back. Did we get back on? All right. We're back on. Holy shit. Uh, yeah, I am on. Let me see. Wi-Fi and hotel is shit. I mean, it's not actually a hotel, but you know what I meant. All right, I lost my train of thought. What the fuck was I saying? Sorry about that, y'all. It's gonna be intermittent. This is another reason I don't. Yeah, I do have the banning internet connection right now. Is what it is. Oh yeah, but that was the point I was getting to, is the strikes. Steel Derrick. It's all about the 80% pensions. We're living longer, so it's not a bad deal. It's courts that suck. We're back. 3771 said, "Would you ever arrest somebody for sharing unpopular opinions online, like the British police?" No, I share that shit all the time too, just to try to bring some attention and help them citizens out. I think the more we share the stuff that happens in other countries, the more we can help improve law enforcement all over the world. A lot of people try to think that I'm doing that to deflect attention off the bad that police do in the US, and that's not the case. I'm calling out the bad stuff the US police do all the time. But at the same time, the approach is to show these other bad police tactics in other countries that we look at as fundamental rights. Other countries right now don't see it that way. Now, I acknowledge they have their own set of laws and rules. It doesn't mean I have to agree with them, and it doesn't mean I can't call them out to try to help them get some sort of, fundamental changes going. And as a matter of fact, if you guys ever look at my series, So You Think Cops Do It Better in Other Countries, that got started from a lot of Brazilian cops and citizens reaching out to me saying, "Can you share this video, please? Can you share this video, please?" Because apparently some of the videos that we shared of their people has gotten attention. So maybe we started something else. I don't know. I can't. There we go. Without law, we would have chaos. And so that goes to the point of the strike. If you look at what happened in Chaz or whatever, Chop, whatever they called that city that happened in, I don't remember, Portland. Was it Portland or was it Seattle? No, it wasn't Seattle. Wherever it was, it turned to chaos. So if the cops go on strike here, in a large scale strike, I mean, what the hell is going to happen? American Cop Patriot said, "You would have a heyday up here if you saw how they treat people. I would love the auditors to come around this area." Yeah, that'd be awesome. I see Jamal Lowry joined. Nat joined. What's up, guys? See you guys over on Instagram. Appreciate you jumping on. But yeah, if a strike were to happen, I think we would have a meltdown for quite a while. But my curiosity is, what would be the effect that it has with citizens? So I guess that's my next question. If the police went on strike, let's just say just a nationwide strike, they all went on strike. What is your reaction? What's your opinion as a citizen? What do you think about that? Make sure you guys drop that in the comments. I'm curious what you think if the cops were to go on strike. As a citizen, how does that make you feel? Especially, let's say it's over pay, let's say it's over not being supported. Just overall, let's say it's over not being supported. Like how do you react to that as a citizen? Because maybe this is something that police departments can think about. With what you guys say here, if they went on strike, what does that mean? What would that mean to you? How would you look at police from there? I am Kelly says it will look like the purge out here. I don't think you'd be wrong. Project said blue cities would explode. Oh, we got the legend Jerry Worms in here. He said you might have a bunch of vigilantes roaming around the streets. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. TMC said not cool. Not cool. It would be completely out of control. Utter chaos. Tequila, Tactical Tequila Podcast said. Make sure you guys go check out Tactical Tequila Podcast, by the way. It is a very great format. He's a great host. I was actually on his podcast. Very fun stuff. So make sure you guys are checking him out. As you guys know, I am completely free with my platform. Anybody that's ever been a part of it, I will shout out you guys' platforms. Bill Cox said, in New Orleans, the New Orleans PD, oh shit, the New Orleans PD, we got a bunch of comments that just shot up. Lost a lot of public support because of their strike. See, and that's one of my concerns is it kind of has that opposite effect that you want. You want to be noticed and recognized, and you're trying to get change that will help you, but at the same time, it might go against you. Bob McPherson said, cops go on strike. Doubt it. How I react? Don't have to worry about a random bored dude harassing me for an imagined traffic violation. Fair enough. No, if there were no cops, everybody would be afraid more of what somebody's going to do to them without cops coming, how it always should have been. Mr. Billfold said, of course, there will be vigilantes, and after about a week, less criminals. Yeah, I bet there'd be a lot of redneck bubbas that'd be like, all right, finally, the Lord has answered my prayers. Yeah. I can see it because Birmingham has more murders per capita than Portland. No shit. Yeah, and Mr. Billfold said, blue cities have stricter gun control, so only the criminals have their guns. To be fair, the New Orleans police were crooked and worthless before they went on strike. Yeah, he's not wrong. They had a lot of problems. I think they are still a consent decree city. I think still. It all stemmed from the 90s, I believe, when they had cops that were in the pockets of drug dealers and stuff. But where did that start from? It kind of goes hand in hand into the topic that we're talking about. People don't want to say it out loud, but holy shit, they were so neglected by their citizens that this was this downward spiral. You know, when the cops aren't getting paid, and the hiring standards are so shit that you're getting people that don't qualify to be cops, you start to invite that corruption. That's what can happen. If they had not done it at Mardi Gras, public opinion might not have been as bad. Oh, shit, they did it at Mardi Gras. I didn't know that. Tactical Tequila Podcast said self-deputized vigilantes. Right? I had a conversation earlier on YouTube with somebody where they were like, you know, you can't depend on the cops to get there. And I said, you should never depend on anybody to defend you, ever. If they get there and they can help you, that's awesome. But your protection relies on yourself. Ultimately, at the end of the day, is why I'm such a big fan of the Constitution and the Second Amendment. Because I showed a video today. It was an officer responding to a burglary call. I don't know if you guys caught it. It was one of the little reels I did. And it was one of those where the cop shouldn't have been running code. even if he was running, this is another part. I didn't, you know how I do. I get small parts of my thoughts out on the reel, but when I talk about it later, we can go farther in depth. Um, so I'll go more in depth on that specific video. If you are running code, even if you're running code, lights and sirens, that's what running code means. Um, if you are running code and it is to something serious, like let's say it is a home invasion, like that's happening right now, and it's in somebody's house, and they're like, I can hear him breaking in, like he's got a gun against it, whatever it is. Um, Even then, you still don't have the freedom to run code to that house always the way that this guy was. You have to be smart about it. Like going the wrong way in traffic and stuff like that, speeding in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, going, upwards of 50 and 60 miles an hour. Because if you get in an accident, like, do you think the public's going to be on your side for that? I don't know that they will be. And I'm pretty sure it violates almost every general order I've ever heard of. It's an internal policy, but it's not worth it, y'all. It is not worth it. You do nobody any good if you don't get to the scene. Because as soon as you wreck out and possibly hurt someone else, another officer is going to have to get sent. I mean, there's going to be a couple officers sent. There's probably going to be several officers sent anyway. But if y'all running like that, like, I'm just as, you know how it is. It's like when your dad gives you advice and you're like, yeah, sure, Dad. Because, you're 14, you think you know better. And then you turn 35, 40, and you look back on the advice your parents gave, and you're like, oh, fuck, they were right the whole damn time. I should have been listening. Well, that's what I'm trying to do with these police now. I get it. Technically, it's a priority one call, so you can run code, and if it's a 45-minute old call, not worth it. Yeah, and then Brandar brought up the sign. That's another part that I was gonna. Yeah, if you are gonna run code, you got to have your sirens on. Like, you can't just use your short sirens just to get through. And I keep doing this because you got to press a button. At least on the controls that I've used, you got to press a button to get that horn going and to clear your intersections. You got to leave that thing going. If you're gonna run code, you're running code. Like, it does no good to not. Now I get it. 2 porks, 1 pie. Love it. Tony 82H. Love it. Love a good roast, sir. No worries. Bill Cox. This was my earlier comment right when you... Shit. This damn thing. Right when you went off air, was a Louisiana trooper was sent to cover New Orleans during the 1979 Mardi Gras police strike. They sent about 100 of us to cover for the strikers. We also had National Guard guys with M16s without magazines. That's awesome. Lemony Fresh Pine. Too many pigs make it home each day. There's no reforming the tool of our oppression. I don't think it's true. I welcome you to stay, Lemony, and maybe we can discuss how we would get that reforming. What are some of the problems that you have? Maybe there's some things that I can tell you that we are working on fixing. I can tell you that, in my opinion, policing has continuously gotten better and better and better. And the way that I prove that is we go all the way back to, let's just start with the civil rights movement in the 1960s, seeing how police behaved then, just letting dogs loose on just everything and anything, and no real use of force policies, stuff like that. And then you get in and you move towards the 80s, and then we started getting into, having dash cameras. The public wanted these, so now the cops have them. They wanted alternate uses of force options for cops besides lethal. So then they started, with batons, and then tasers started being developed, and pepper spray got developed. So there's been a continuous, citizens don't like this, we adjust, we use this. Citizens want more accountability and transparency, we do this. So I think it keeps getting better and better. I'm an optimistic guy, though. So if you are more of a realist, and if you're more of a pessimist, we're going to clash. But I will not shun your voice simply because I don't agree with it. And it doesn't mean you're fully wrong either. Just because what I'm telling you is true, but what you're saying has some truth to it as well. I mean, it's 2026 and we're still seeing cops violate people's rights on First Amendment auditing. So you're not wrong. Look at all the training we have, and we still have cops doing this stuff. So looking at, Lemony's point, like, he's got a fucking point. Craig dropping 10 membership gifts in the YouTube. So I appreciate you, sir. I love when you guys support the channel. I won't lie, we have taken a hit with me being on the military leave. Bills are all the money that we goes right into what we use. So it is much appreciated. I'll just say that it's much appreciated. Thank you very much, Craig. I do see that Marine Blood did not get a membership. Again, you guys know the rule. Drink. Mr. Billfold said, maybe dog is not a good example, Eric. Remember, we have a clearly established the right for a surrendered person to not be attacked by a police dog. I understand what you're saying, Mr. Billfold. I'm not saying it doesn't still happen. Stuff like that still does happen, but it isn't running rampant. It's an outlier. It happens rarely now, which before, like the point that I'm making in the 60s, like, it was just a go-to, right? Because now the police don't have to go hands-on. Really, it was their only non-lethal option. They didn't have anything else. They had a gun. Maybe they had a baton. Maybe. I don't know. Citizens want more transparency. Cops only give transparency in their favor. They fight transparent on what makes them look bad. I don't. That's from Brandar. I think you have some point to what you're saying. Some departments do that. I've seen it. I'm with you. I've seen some departments do it. I think, especially with the big agencies, because typically it takes the big agencies to be the lead and the example, and then all the other ones slowly start to fall in place. Because, like, I look at my own department, and now that I'm one of those people that actually gets the information on these Freedom of Information Act stuff, like, I'll see the request come in. I'm like, oh, fuck, they want 5 years worth? I'm like, ugh. And I know I was just talking about this the other day, but like 5 years I had to go back and get this information, and the people were willing to pay for it, which is fine. But it took me days. That's hours and days worth of work. So the transparency and the accountability is there. Now, where the rub can happen sometimes, though, is when the information can be detrimental to investigations. Because believe it or not, guys, the cartels and bad guys are not dumb, and they will do Freedom of Information, requests, trying to find out what the cops know about them. It's pretty slick shit, honestly. Like, this is the hard part, man. Really smart bad guys that do some really nefarious shit, like, they're ahead of the game. Like, we're behind, man. So, yeah, it's just the way I see it. Let me see. Bob McPherson said, Brandar, they don't give transparency unless they know you already have the proof yourself. Helped killed my brother and won't give me any of the body cams. Again, is that investigation still going? I'm sure you'll get that eventually, but if they haven't had a court case or anything like that yet, you got a point. Then you're not going to get that probably until that case is over with. But that's the other thing too, is people want it on their timeline, and I think police they were used to be notorious for dragging out that this is the investigation, we'll give it to you when it's over with, and now lo and behold, that investigation doesn't end for like years and years and years and years and years. But I think that's changing. Again, the big departments aren't going to do it, but the small ones are slowly catching up. How many FOIA requests, not FOIL, get denied? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I have seen some get denied where they want to know the locations of certain things that they can't give up and things of that nature. Um, so somebody's texting me. Give me 1 second. I think it has to do with that. After an extensive Police One review, can you please do a special on how running from the police in places where there is a southern accent will end up with you being fixed up? Oh, I haven't seen that. Have to look into that. So yeah, Bob said no. It was over 5 years ago. Yeah, that's bullshit. You should have that now, Bob. I'm with you. I don't know. I can't. Again, that's kind of the shitty part. Is I can't. I work for such a great place. In my experience, have they had things where I don't agree with? Yeah, it's happened. But overall, man, as far as training and resources and accountability and transparency and stuff like that, I really like where I'm at. But I see these places that don't have those same standards, and I see how frustrating that is. And all I can do from this spot is try to bring attention to it. Um, Bob, if you want to call out that department, feel free. I mean, I think public pressure is the mother of all. Public perception has a lot of power. A lot of power. Ward. Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? You didn't miss anything, sir. You missed Craig dropping some of them memberships. Give another shout out to Craig. But yeah, I think if police go on strike, I don't think you're going to have, I think all across the board, you're not going to get the reaction that you were hoping for or that you thought it would be on both sides. I think people that are against the police, I think if they think the cops go on strike, they'll be like, fuck yeah, finally, we don't have to deal with the tyranny, and they're not going to have the results they wanted. But then the cops at the same time, they're not going to get the results that they wanted, because I think that they're going to be like, oh, this will show them that, they're going to miss us when we're gone. They're going to respect what we do. No. You swore an oath to the Constitution, and I don't think you're ever going to get past that point. And when you swear an oath to the Constitution, I don't think that has these contingencies that allow you to strike. That's my opinion. I waited a half hour before I said anything, y'all. But that's my opinion. You swore an oath to the Constitution. You don't get to do and apply it when you feel you're not being treated right. It's there. You swore to it. Fucking uphold it. Bob said, I'm not trying to take over the chat. I apologize. I guess I got triggered. No, that's what we like, Bob. I want some emotional, invested comments, brother. That's good shit. That's good stuff. I love that. Don't apologize for that. You're not being an asshole. That you're being respectful. I can't complain. I love that type of passion. Brandar said, there's a news report about a police department that claims they could not edit their cam footage, then gives news and edited video that is in their favor. So, okay, I can tell you, you can't edit evidence. So when, like, let's say with a body camera from Axon, that video the raw video gets uploaded to evidence.com, which is what holds that evidence. You can't alter that. That original will always be the original. And when you try to give your stuff to a prosecutor to file a case, they're only going to accept the raw video. And they know how to tell. They can tell if it's the raw video or if it's not. There's a bunch of checks and balances for that. However, when a police department wants to throw out a propaganda piece or look how good we did here piece or whatever you want to call it, they can edit that. Because they're downloading it and now they're altering it how they want to. So yes, it can be edited. The original can't be edited. If that makes sense. Looking over at I am Kelly. I know that's right. You sound like an amazing cop. Don't let how I sound fool you. I am not going to claim to be an amazing cop. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even call me a real cop right now. I sit in an office. I work in a real-time crime center now. I'm not in the streets anymore. So I would say I'm not a real cop. Buffalo NYPD problems, call at angry cops. Yeah, angry cops. He goes after and that Buffalo Police Department, doesn't he? American cop patriots. Eric can take the heat. I tried to. I am Kelly. Get it, Bob. They see they're supporting you over on Instagram, Bob. Stephen Wallace said, "So I'm right. It is the abandonment of duty and oath." Yes. And that kind of ties into a video I posted maybe yesterday or today. I don't remember. I post a lot of shit. Where an activist had challenged Antifa. Now that kid's going to get on the show. We talked behind the scenes. He's going to tell the full story. And I fully admit, guys, I don't know the whole story. I'm just telling you I'm telling you how I see it with what he showed. And you can't get mad at me for just trying to take and look at a small clip, and because that's what you presented. If you wanted the full story, you would have shared more of that story. But this is what you shared, so I'm going to judge based on what I see and give you my perspective based on what I have. Now, when he comes on, I'm sure he's going to give me more information, and my view is going to probably change. But in that, now we're talking about cops upholding their oath for an individual versus the masses. And that's where I got into, like, sometimes your oath can pull you two different ways. My oath, I typically look at for the entirety and not just the individual. So it's the whole, a person laying on the train track versus, a group of people laying on the train track. The train's coming. You gotta make it go down one set of tracks or the other by pulling the switch. Do you make it? And there's no other choice. You have to do one or the other. Do you make it go and hit the 5 people on the track, or do you make it go hit the 1? Well, damn it, I'm logical and rational. That's how I try to make my decisions. I'd rather the 5 people be spared than the 1. So it's just kind of how I saw it. Bill Cox, we are a small agency. I handle all of our public record requests and press releases. Not complying fully with public records law is self-defeating. Agreed. He said, not being open as possible with the press releases is shooting yourself in the foot. No integrity, no respect. I agree. I wish more departments could figure that out. I think, in my experience, most of them seem to have it. But the ones that get the attention are the ones that aren't doing that. And again, they make everybody else look bad. The argument is cops are not a part of the judicial branch and should not be interpreting the law, which is why I think we need more education on laws they enforce. It's not so, well, they have no choice. You have to interpret. It's just a part of the job. If I show up to a business where somebody's saying this person has to leave, they are not allowed to be here, I have to interpret what the law says. I can't just say, okay, you got to go. I've got to interpret it. I have to determine things according to law. Sir, are you a legal owner? Do you represent this place? Now I got to find out if this guy has anything to do with that business. Sir, are you an owner? Do you have anything? Do you have any standing in this place? Are you just a patron? I have to establish all these things and then interpret. Okay. Now, what if this other guy claims that he's part owner? I've got to interpret. Because if he claims he's part owner, and this guy claims he's owner, now it's a civil thing. But I've got to interpret that. I got to figure out, is this guy full of shit? Is he telling the truth? So it's not black and white. Brandar, I've noticed that a thing with when you and I go back and forth, you look at a lot of things black and white. You do. It's not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I think that's where you and I hit the rub a lot of times. Is you look at things more black and white, and that is, I'm telling you, that is not how the law works. It is not black and white, nor should it be. That's where discretion comes in. That's why discretion is that gray area, because that's where the interpretation stuff starts to come down the line. Because the law cannot account for every scenario. It just can't. That's why we got so many fucking laws now. No, that isn't. Brandar said it's not interpreting the law. That's interpreting facts. No, that's interpreting the facts according to what the law is saying, and then I have to figure out if those facts apply to that law. That's interpreting. Cops are a part of the executive branch, not the judicial. Yeah, he knows that, Perry. That's part of what we're talking about. He's not saying that we're a part of the executive branch. He's saying since we are not a part of the judicial, that we shouldn't be interpreting laws. And I'm telling him that there's no way to do policing without having some sort of interpretation of laws. It's just how it is. Eric, your theory about the There we go. We got the internet back. Sorry about that, y'all. The Wi-Fi is no good. The Wi-Fi is no good. But back to Mr. Billfold's comment about the 50 students versus it's not. I don't look at that as a comparable because we're not talking about somebody that's in danger and a decision that has to be made in real time. There was a video I saw where a tenant tried to get the owner trespassed from the property. I think we discussed it once. Yeah, there was because the guy didn't realize that it was the owner. Uh, I guess the Air Force in suite does not have 5G yet. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you. The thing is it will reconnect, so that's a positive. I'm waiting to see if it's going to reconnect on Instagram. It's not looking. Prognosis is not looking good right now. But it did reconnect on everything else, I think. The CIA is listening, slowing the Wi-Fi. Right. I'm seeing comments on Instagram. Well, we are police trained on dealing with citizens that have mental issues. Oh, how well are the police trained? I think that is all over the board. Wade, I could almost buy Eric's side, except look what they did to the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. I'm with you, Wade. I'm with you on that. With that exact terminology, shall not be infringed. In my opinion, the Second Amendment was made to keep the government in check. We should be able to have all the same weapons and stuff that the military have. I don't think the whole reason was because we were fighting the tyranny of the British. So we could fight back against them. And then when we get over here and then we get established, now slowly but surely they start picking away all of these rights. Ward, every cop I talk to seems to have mental issues. Judy here. When my father patrolled in the 70s and 80s, the sovereign claims wasn't a thing. How do you personally deal with them? Honestly, my head wants to pop off every. Okay, so you guys know that I love dealing with sovereign citizens. It's very fun for me because, like, my initial thing when I start dealing with them, I'm like, if you're so sovereign, why did you stop to our authority? Because we don't have authority over you according to your thought process, and that usually kicks things off. And I stick with the law. I stick with the law because most of the time they don't want to show their ID. They're traveling. If you're in a motorized vehicle on a public roadway, you do not have the privilege to, I don't know why I put that in air quotes, but you don't have the privilege to use them if you don't have a license, insurance, and current registration. So dealing with sovereign citizens has always been easy for me, but it's because I don't let their process frustrate me. And more oftentimes than not, I can finish them off. That sounds gross, but with the your job is to argue in court, not here with me. So the Second Amendment protects our Fourth. The Second Amendment protects all of our amendments. West Virginia is creating a public defense department to issue machine guns to citizens using the language of the law. Should be exciting to see. Oh, that would be kind of cool. I think getting machine guns is right around the corner. I do think so. I mean, because they've lifted a lot of the regulations on silencers, which I think was great. Judy said, "Oh my God, traveling." Yeah. I agree. Welfare checks have become the new death sentence. Yeah, it sucks because here's the thing that nobody wants to talk about. When you have to do a welfare check, you already know you're dealing with a mentally unstable person. And I'm sorry, doing a 40-hour class for mental health stuff doesn't necessarily make you an expert at it. I'd rather have the cop that just knows how to talk to people versus the guy that doesn't know how to talk to people that just did the 40-hour, crisis intervention training and then has to go do a mental health check. Honestly, it's to me, if the cops need to be there, then it's not a welfare check. Let's put that language out there. If the cops have to be involved, it's not a welfare check. It is a domestic. It is a person that's in danger. It's something. Somebody said my YouTube video is not playing. Stinson said that on Instagram. Is anybody else having that issue? I see Mr. Billfold's commenting pretty regularly, so maybe it's working. Mr. Billfold, no, I did not see that video yet. I didn't. The day that I planned to watch it, I was tied up with my tetanus disability. I apologize. I did not see that one yet. The state of Missouri, by law, defines all lawful citizens as militia. See? That makes sense to me. Ariel said it's working just fine on YouTube. Stinson, fix your shit because it's working for everybody else. We got a lot of engagement tonight. I wish it had a count of all of the comments. That would be kind of cool. I would love to know how many comments we got. This has been a lot on this one tonight, and we haven't even been going an hour. There are some very powerful air guns today. No laws regarding being fully auto or having a suppressor. Very true. I've been wanting to get some of them air guns just because they're so cool. No, they're not as powerful as firearms, but definitely powerful. Yeah, I have heard they enter your skin. They can mess you up. So the feed must be messed up. The mustache is showing, but the beard is missing. Fucking Lord. No, Eric, Judge Fleischer just dismissed a case where a mother called the police on the advice of her son's shrink. To get him to the hospital and instead arrested the kid on domestic violence. That's crazy. See, but that's what I'm saying is cops are not mental health professionals. So if you're going to call the police on the advice of somebody's shrink, like what does the shrink know about police and what they deal with and what they do and what their point is? This is what I'm saying. It's a shitty area, and the police are taking the brunt of it because how often do calls like this where the police don't get involved turn violent? That's another thing we need to consider. How often do these mental health issues where they don't call the police and then the next thing you know, you're showing up to a freaking, serious bodily injury or death scene? And they're like, well, we didn't want to call the cops because it didn't seem like a police issue. But And now, so you kind of in catch-22. The cops, they kind of need to be there, but you kind of don't want them there. But you give someone a hammer, everything becomes a nail. You bring the police that are law enforcement. That's their job. It's law enforcement. End of the day, they're there to enforce laws. That's why they're called law enforcement. So they show up to something that may not necessarily be a law enforcement thing, but they don't have the tools to solve it another way. And then if you decide to do a mental health detention is really what it is, and that can be up to 72 hours. An arrest still has to happen. You still have to seize that person and get them to the hospital. Now, if you can talk them into it, that's awesome. But most of the time, these people can't be talked into it. That's why they called the cops in the first place. And that's when shit hits a fan. Because the cops are trying to de-escalate. And more oftentimes, when you try to do that de-escalation too long and you don't see the signs and symptoms, where you should have went hands-on a lot sooner, it escalates and then more force ends up being used. Wade said the United States War Manual says we can remove belligerent occupiers, aka government, 11.3 and 11.4. All right, well, you better know what the fuck you're talking about if you're going to decide to try to do that. That's all I can say. It's been a lot of people that thought they knew and they was wrong. Oh. Once they show up and you let them know this person has a mental issue, what then? Yeah. It's a good question. You don't know. Because a lot of times I tell people it's not against the law for them to be crazy. And me, as I'm showing up, I'm trying to figure out, is there a potential for harm? If there's a potential for harm, then I have to take this person to the hospital to get them help. So an arrest, even though it's not officially an arrest, it's still a type of arrest. And you have to do a mandatory mental health thing, or you take them to the psych ward of a hospital and they have to be evaluated. You're still taking the freedom. Mr. Billfold said the proposed Public Defense and Provisioning Act in West Virginia sought to create Office of Public Defense led by the state police superintendent to facilitate the sale of machine guns to qualified citizens. The bill, which includes mandated background checks for buyers, was sidelined in 2026 due to procedural issues. Bill's authors aimed to use an exemption in the National Firearms Act that allows state agencies to transfer machine guns that are otherwise restricted by the 1986 federal ban. I'll tell you what, if I could get a machine gun that didn't cost $20,000 or more, I would get one. Why not? 5150 72-hour hold is always better than dying. That's what I'm saying, Wade, is that when these people find out, when these people are having a mental health crisis, find out that they're going with the police against their will, shit hits a fan. Has a tendency to do that. And when they're not in the right mindset and they start grabbing things that are deadly, knives and all that, we just saw the one in New York. The damn cop retreated, tried to put a door between him and the other guy, knowing full well it was a mental health call. What the hell do you do with that? Guy had nowhere else to go. Now, the guy he shot didn't die, which is awesome. I'm glad that didn't happen. But at the same time, I don't blame him for shooting. I would have done the same thing. And then you get pissed off as a cop because you're like, Jesus, this is not what I'm here for. And that's where I get into the fact that when it is a mental health thing, your job is to try to talk. But all of that talking, when you know you have the elements of a possible offense, as they're talking, they're like, yes, he's having a mental health thing, but he hit this person, he hit that person. So you have offenses. And cops are trying to avoid putting a charge on somebody that's having a mental health crisis. They have the elements that they can use for an arrest, but if they arrest them, now everybody's pissed off that you just arrested a person with a mental health issue. And then when they don't do that and they get into the talking, it builds up. This person realizes they're going to have to go to a hospital against their will, and shit hits a fan. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get everybody to the table to admit it is not black and white one way or the other. It's a shit sandwich no matter which way you go. And I don't have a fix for it. I don't know the fix for it because I still believe the police are going to be needed. I do believe if you try to get a healthcare professional there, now you got a potential extra victim, a person that could get themselves between the police handling their job and this health professional. But maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Don't know. I don't have the answer. And in a major city, you're never going to have enough healthcare professionals. At my city alone, there's mental health calls constantly. Judy said, then does the position need to be changed because the culture is becoming engulfed in mental health issues? I do think the culture is really brought to light a lot of the mental health issues. Just look. We'll just go with policing in general. Look at the mental health issue. If you don't think a cop has some sort of mental health issue, and you're delusional. As much as I'd love to say that I don't, there are things that do trigger me. I have a really hard time dealing with abused women. I don't know why that stuck with my. I didn't grow up with any abused people or anything like that, but I have seen very traumatic calls of abused women. And for whatever reason, that really hits me hard when I see it or I see it on TV or whatever. And I'm not myself. So I don't know if that's PTSD. I don't know. I've seen a lot of other bad things that my brain seems to have compartmentalized in a way that I can deal with it. But me personally, that's one that I don't know why. No rhyme or reason why that particular type of trauma really gets to me, but it does. So just dealing with police mental health issues and acknowledging that it is impossible for all the bullshit we see on a day-to-day basis to not have some sort of mental health issues. So it goes into, do you start should police departments be required to hire a mental health unit that aren't cops? I don't know. Don't have the answer to that. I am Kelly said, cops really need to have a good mental health space. How often do cops get checked on in with, or maybe a mental health provider, a counselor, or something like that? To that nature, do you guys see? So I will tell you, like where I'm at, there's a lot of good options. We have a screening process for our calls. So there's a system that sees high risk calls and call details and stuff like that, that puts a cop at risk for mental health issues and stuff like that. So our mental health unit will reach out to that officer, reach out to the supervisor. Us as supervisors, also, that's our job. We should be looking at those types of calls and checking on our people. But I can't speak for every department. So I can tell you in my experience, there are really cool systems out there, but I don't know that every agency has caught up to that. Yeah, if that makes sense. But that's a good question. Let me see. Did you read my son's case, beanbags used? I did not. California has all kinds of health organization problems. They are just storefronts to collect tax money. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that out in California. I've heard they're collecting a lot for the homeless and the mental health issues, and none of that money goes to where it should be going. My best mental health worker was the wife of a cop, so she understood, and her door was always open. I think one of the important things is always offer cops a third-party option, something that is outside the agency, because cops do not want to risk their business getting out in their departments. And I think anytime the mental health stuff is internal, it has a high potential for getting out of there and getting loose lips, sink ships type thing. You know what I'm saying? I just saw a body cam video. The cop found a 3-year-old girl in a tote. She was dead. He came apart so hard I can't imagine. Yeah, there's bad things. I've seen some bad stuff. I don't like dwelling on it. I'm not going to give you guys details because that's not really what this platform is. I'm not the war stories guy either. There's plenty of other cops out there. That's all they do is tell you the war stories. Like, if I have an example that happens to fit in the topics of what we're discussing, maybe I'll bring them up then, but I don't do the whole war story stuff. I don't think that's why you guys are here. It's not the point of the show. And that's just going into the cops explaining stuff. But in the look at the hero I am. No, like there's some shitty stuff out there. Actually, a video I plan to make. I grabbed it today, but you see a guy called in. They're at a truck stop, like a truck gas station where all the semi trucks get lined up and stuff. And his best friend, they were running a route kind of together or something like that. His buddy had gotten to the truck stop a few hours earlier than him. He sees his truck. He pulls up next to him and realizes that his buddy's unresponsive in the driver's seat, calls the cops. Cops get there. Dude had been dead for a few hours, just died right there. Some sort of natural cause. But you see the deputy trying to console this man who had lost his mind. And I think all of us know, most of us know that trauma of losing somebody unexpectedly. And I think the cop just did a really good job of being there without faking it. I hope that makes sense. And I just think he did a really good job. And it wasn't, again, it's not a blow the blue thing. That's not what I'm going for. It's just a good example of how to be a good cop. And I want to share that. I think cops need to see that. Like, you don't have to be, I don't need you to be Dr. Phil. But see an example of somebody who's present, just being present in a good way. That's a great example. That's a hard thing to do. I don't care who you are. You could be the greatest social person ever, but dealing with somebody in a time of grief that's a whole other skill set. That's why chaplains do so well, the good ones. But yeah, it was a great video. So I'm just gonna, it's a kudos video. I've done a lot of videos lately of shitting on some police work, so I try to even it out. trying to even things out here, guys. But I say I've done a lot of videos. They're in the chamber. I've already made them. I just haven't posted them yet. So try to even things out. You guys know me. But yeah, Wade said Midwest Safety Body Cam has a ton of real life shit. Midwest. I don't know if I follow them or not. I might. Steele said, thanks for talking about these issues. It's reality for all of us. 360 people have died in mass. I'm not sure what that stands for. Hey, Free's in the house. What up, Free? Hey, Eric. And all just driving home from work, just stopped at the store listening in. My guy. Freeman always trying to gas us up. I love it. Did you see the video where a man was arrested because casino AI facial recognition got 100% match on the wrong man? No, I did not see that. I can tell you that if you, when it comes to facial rec, every policy that I've seen at police departments has been that facial recognition, even if it's 100%, you will never, ever be able to use that as a probable cause. It can be a way to start looking and investigating more, but that is not PC. No, sir. Mr. Banning Sweatland jumping on. I see him in the chat. What's going on, brother? I told you two cops several months ago when we used one of their videos. I am Kelly said, I really feel like more cops need to do this. Reach out to the public. Give us your side of things. We need to know that there are lots of good cops still out there to hear your guys' side of things. I appreciate it. And vice versa. I need your guys' engagement because I need to see how you see things. If all I see is how other cops see things, then I become super biased, super lopsided. I will never have a well-rounded point of view. That's why I like doing this. And you'll see, most of the time we can reach a common ground on a lot of things, I think. It's very rare that I'm completely against something that one of y'all have to say. Mr. Billfold and I will go hand in hand, blow for blow on certain things every once in a while, but I will always acknowledge his side, and I can see what most people have to say, as long as it's reasonable. And it's not that it's not that I think they're wrong. It's just, if I'm going to pick one or the other, sometimes I'm like, no, I just see it this way more. And that's typically how some of the things where the rub really hits. Brandar, he's another one. I think he's a very smart guy, and he looks at things very like linear, logical, and he makes really good points. It's just, I'm a gray dude. I live in the gray. I can see both sides on everything just about. And he can put his line in the sand a lot sooner than me. I'm not that way. Not wired that way. And that's okay. Doesn't mean he's wrong. Doesn't mean I'm right. Just the way we have these conversations. And I am being truthful in what I'm telling you when I say it. So I hope that comes across. Steel Derek said 360 people have died in Massachusetts. I'm assuming that's what she means. Since 2019, with interactions with law enforcement, includes jails and prisons. Department of Justice data. Oh, see, that's how you put a stat out there. Thank you, Derek. That's what I'm talking about. If you're going to throw numbers, tell me where you got it. Department of Justice, good data. Like it. Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, is Massachusetts where that fucking who's that guy at Long Island Auditor is having Sergeant Fahey? Was that where he was out of? So was Massachusetts? You all tell me. I can't remember. This has been good. This has been a good live. I didn't expect, even though we've lost connection a few times, it's been fun. I like this one. It's been some good conversation going. Marine Blood. Like the show, want to support the mods, $6,000 pay increase. Private jet, donate here. There's going to be people that believe that, Marine Blood. Fahey was New Jersey. Oh, New Jersey. My bad. Oh, Connecticut. My mom's saying Connecticut. Ario's saying Connecticut. Uh-oh. Got a little battle. 2 against 1. I think it was Connecticut, because he always called it Corrupticate. That's it is Connecticut. Yep. Yeah. See? Corrupticate. Oh, Long Island got that stuck in my head. That's a smart play. He did the whole Trump thing, making up these names. Sleepy Joe. Let's see. What did he call Hillary? I can't remember what he called Hillary. Apparently that one didn't stick as well. But yeah, little nicknames. When one side is red and the other side is yellow, be the orange man. There you go. The art of war. He is from the U.S. He had a different issue in New Jersey. Yes, he did. I am Kelly. Started following me. Hell yeah. Thanks, Kelly. Guys, if you can't support us financially, and I am not trying to press you to send out your hard-earned cash, but it really does help, and it does give me the ability to do these conversations. But please like, share, follow, subscribe on any platform. If you are a person that uses Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, follow us on all of those. I think across the board that'll take you like 30 seconds maximum. That really does help us a lot. So please do that. And I'm not jumping off. I hope you guys don't think I'm jumping off anytime soon. But we did have, our Instagram really did have quite a few people on there today for Instagram. Normally we float around 2 or 3 people. Today we're around 10 10 to 15. So we did okay. But on YouTube and everything else, we were sitting at 100, 120. That's not terrible. I miss my footstool. I keep reaching for it because I always have a footstool at my normal desk at home. I don't have it here. So mid conversation, my feet are just aimlessly reaching for something that's not there. I am Kelly said, it is the same name on all. Appreciate you. And I am drinking a Lagunitas Hazicus Maximus Hazy IPA. Just so you guys know. I brought another one just in case I get through this one too quickly, but I'm slow sipping. I just have one or two. But let me see here. The funny thing is I know that we're back up on Instagram. However, looking at my screen, it's frozen. So I hope you guys can see me talking and moving and doing all that stuff on Instagram. I don't know why. So it may just be a me thing. That's how it looks here. You keep having a vertical and horizontal stream, so YouTube chat is split. Yep, I understand. Sorry about that, but try to do it all. I like having the horizontal and the verticals. I don't know if we made it on TikTok today. Let me see. TikTok says it's streaming. Steele says, I was in the movie American Manhunt. First to comment on picture of bombers comment was FBI doing its job. Williams said, I hope you never stop putting stuff on Instagram. Me too. Hey, as long as they got support, means I'm doing the right thing. I'm hoping you guys can see all of the chats because I have it overlaid on the stream. You should be able to see just about everybody. Maybe not. I'm sure eventually it will merge. It's such a new feature on Restream. I think that's all it is. But does anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Any topics, anything, questions that they have? Attack Cop, are you on Discord also? I am on Discord. So please, I forgot about that. Yeah, y'all, make sure you guys are checking out our Discord channel. I'm sure Marine Blood will pop that up there if we have it readily available. But yeah, we have a Discord channel. Hopefully we can get that up there. William Z on Instagram said, should weed be legalized? I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's legal in so many places. It would just make sense to make it easy across the board. I've never been in a fight with somebody just high on weed, but I've been in fights plenty with people drunk on alcohol. So yeah, I would have no problem with that. I am Kelly. Well, have a good night. I will definitely be seeing you again. I'm going to go cook dinner. Appreciate you. I did not see a stream on Discord. Oh, yeah, we don't stream on Discord. I don't even know how to do that. That might be something possible, but it is not a thing on Restream yet. So until it becomes one, I won't know how to do that. So yeah, we don't actually stream. Who's your pick, Ronda Rousey or Gina Carrero? I like Gina Carrero, but I think Ronda would mess her up. I just think Ronda's fresher. She knows the more up-to-date stuff, where Gina was a little more old school, and I don't think old school could keep up with more of the newer school. FBI has increased the terror watch threat, so remember, see something, say something. Yeah, that's true. If you guys don't think there's possibility of sleeper cells, you'd be wrong. Make sure you guys are paying attention. Attack Cop Gina. Eye of the night, but it's a pain. What's a pain? It is possible, but it's a pain. Oh, to go on Discord. There we go. Marine Blood posted our Discord. Let me get that up on the screen so y'all can see. Yeah, join our Discord, y'all. You can, even though I haven't been able to get to it in a while, go to our Ask a Cop section. Hopefully some of our cops are answering. I usually am the only one that does, just because our Discord's growing and we're learning how to utilize it more. But it's a pretty good community so far, I think. Our mods do a really good job. Really, the only person they ever have to mod a whole lot is Mr. Billfold. You have to stream it with screen share. You have done it before. Yeah, I did it that one time, but I had to keep people muted because then I could hear people. Like, it was weird. You're not wrong. But then I don't think you can see what I'm seeing. You can only see, I don't know how I did it. My favorite cop show was the Mod Squad and Starsky and Hutch. My favorite one was Southland. I thought it was the most realistic. I think Southland's the most realistic cop show that's ever existed. And they canceled it out of nowhere. That's what happens when it's too real. There's like, this ain't as entertaining. We want some more fake shit. Let's make The Rookie. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods does have a lot of. It's like a utopia of how I wish policing was. I watch how he is as a commissioner, talking about Tom Selleck, and I wish that's how it was across the world, because that's how I would want to be a commissioner. And I see how they handle calls on that show. A lot of the stuff that they deal with and talk about is very real. It does have its Hollywood moments. It also has its whole little political thing too. They put a little political spin on it occasionally, but overall, a lot of the stuff they do has got some accuracy to it. Excuse me. Adam 12, another great. My mom said I liked Mod Squad too back in my days. I believe my mom was born the year of the Civil Rights Movement or Civil Rights Act. Was that 64? I think that's when all that went down. So, to give you a little clue of the types of shows she would have been watching. I think the best way would make a dedicated stream channel where only you talk, or only you can talk. Actually using the event feature may work. Oh, maybe we need to mess with that, Marine. Rookie is good once in a while, but it has too much lefty wood in it. Yeah. Who doesn't love the Cop Cutie song? That was I love that part. That was funny. 21 Jump Street, yeah, classic. Classic. Yeah, my mom has a birthday coming up here in May. I always get the date messed up. It's either the 7th or the 8th, and I don't know why I get those two dates confused, but 2 pigs in a pen is what? Ooh, I like a riddle. 2 pigs in a pen is what? Justice? Let's see where this joke goes. You tell us, Honor. I'm going to go with justice. I like a good roast. A roast joke. Tell me, Honor, what is it? Hawaii 5-0. Book 'em, Dano. Yeah, that's a little old school. Want to be a better cop? Check out our sponsors at Peregrine. I like it. Yeah, check them out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't want to do that. I almost blocked Marine Blood. No, show the comment. There we go. My mom says she's going to be 62. I can't math, so I just have to trust that's right. Williams over on Instagram said, okay, so what if there are 2 owners of a home and a third party is there and are not owners, but one of the 2 owners want the individual trespass, but the other does not? Who wins? The person that doesn't want them trespass wins, because now you have a civil issue. You need both parties to say that this person is not welcome. Honor said, I'll tell you what, you got to raise a bit of hell to get to heaven. Love it. A Beretta or Beretta. What do we talk? I keep seeing Beretta. Lacey, Beretta. Did I miss a comment you said earlier? Or is that a show? I don't know. Is Beretta a show? What are you talking about, Lacey? Lacey jumped my shit today. Lacey basically thought I was an idiot today. Lacey, I hope you know, no hard feelings. How I'm talking right now is how I was responding. I was not sitting there. I was like, this motherfucker, I didn't do that. I hope you know that about me. But I think you made a lot of great points today. We just don't agree on this particular topic, but that's okay. Free said, just got home, Eric. So that cop in the casino with the AI 100% facial match. I think Reno, that cop was a dick. The guy had a real ID, work ID, pay stub, mail, and the cop just ignored him. Oh, I didn't see all that. That's crazy. TV show Beretta. I don't know that show. You got to sin a little, or Jesus died for nothing. Ward with the quote of the night. I love it. You got to sin a little, or Jesus died for nothing. Fair enough. Lacey, none here either. I appreciate it, Lacey. Thank you. Either than that, I mean, he is Air Force. Come on now. Listen, guys. When this Iran thing really kicks off, you're all going to be happy I'm here. Because I'm going to be like SEAL Team Delta Recon sniper guy. Checking IDs at the gate. Oh, shit. He had a parrot, little short guy. I don't remember Beretta at all. What years were that? I don't know what years that was. How long have you been a segment? Jenna ATX asked. We sponsored the mustache too. Old Ed Padinsky. What up, Ed? Love it. How long have you been a segment? Jenna, I don't understand your question necessarily, but we've been kicking it since 21, so we're going on 5 years in April. If that's what you mean. Oh, how long have you been a sergeant? That's what she was trying to say. Sergeant since I don't know, almost 4 or 5 years now. 4 or 5 years, something like that. What is your favorite gun? Oh, all right. We talking pistol or are we talking rifle? If we're talking pistol, it's kind of a tie between a staccato P and fully decked out, obviously with the red dot and all that good stuff, or I think it's called a Nighthawk. I got to shoot 2 of the best guns I've ever fired in my life. I don't know how they're like cheat codes to shooting pistols. And as far as a rifle goes, I love a good 300 Blackout with an integrally suppressed system. Some running subsonics. That's my favorite setup. Jenna said, congratulations. I appreciate it. SIG or AR? Ooh. If we're talking about rifles, I like the Rattler. Like that's a SIG based rifle. But if we're talking pistols, I'm a staccato man. So it's kind of where I lean into. Robert Blake played Tony Beretta. Yeah, I don't know. You do not have a 70s look, or you do have a 70s look going on. I do have a 70s look. Yeah, I've got my Tom Selleck Magnum PI. Great show, by the way. Detroit Tigers hat, although this is not the same hat he wore. He wore the original Tigers home hat, which I am a Detroit Tigers fan through and through. All-time favorite Tigers player was Alan Trammell. Was a huge Justin Verlander fan, by the way, until he fucking left us. That pissed me off. Couldn't believe he left. But yeah, Alan Trammell was probably my all-time favorite Detroit Tiger. Love Cecil Fielder, don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of great players since then. But yeah, Alan Trammell's always been my top dog. This beer is cold. Drink up, y'all. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, yeah. Make sure y'all are subscribing over there in the Instagram lands. I know we're trying to get our Instagram Live to really start picking up. From what I understand, from what you guys have told me, Instagram Live is not a good thing. People don't really do it, but Wade said Nighthawk is the best, period. Yeah, it was great. Glad to see Eric has not been shot by his P320. Yeah, that's funny because that is what I'm armed up with, is a P320. You're not wrong. Do you hunt? Yeah, I grew up hunting. I've hunted everything from black bear to elk, antelope. Whitetail is what I specialize in, if I'm going to say my hunting specialty. Rabbits. I've tried squirrel, turkey, pheasant. I really like hunting pheasant. Yeah, that's kind of the extent of it. I had a crush on Tony Barreto when I was young, when I was too young to have a crush. That's from Lacey. Columbo was the best cop show, hands down. Oh, come on now. Columbo is not realistic. Jenna, where are you originally from? Flint, Michigan. Don't drink the water. Detroit. I'm Detroit through and through, baby. Williams asking, you a Detroit Lions fan too? Hell yeah. Barry Sanders, the epitome of the Detroit Lions. Hell yeah. I am a Detroit man. Detroit Red Wing. Hockey's my favorite sport to watch. Next, like traditional sports, UFC, mixed martial arts. That's my favorite thing to watch. But between if I'm going to pick traditional sports, hockey's my favorite to watch. Then baseball and football, kind of a tie for me. I'm not a huge fan of basketball once all the refs were found to be kind of corrupt and having issues, and with all the freaking people going out for Academy Awards with their flopping like basketball. I grew up in the 90s, so basketball was back when you had the Pistons, and it was a physical sport, and it's not anymore. It's just not. If it ever gets back to that, yeah. Higher than that. I mean, being from Flint certainly explains a lot, considering the water issue. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. You not wrong. Yeah, I really like my Lions. How many people can say they've been a dedicated fan to a team that's never been to the Super Bowl? Not a lot. Not a lot. Maybe the Browns fans? I don't know. I still liked Walter Payton's Chicago Bears. If I have to go back several years. Yeah, you're going way back on that one. What about Major League Baseball challenge rules? Love it. Fucking get rid of the home plate umpire completely for balls and strikes. I agree. You need to have a guy there, but his job needs to be like make there be another ump out in the field, and then one of them can rotate behind the plate if there's ever a possibility for a home plate call where they shift or whatever they got to do. But I would much rather have that computer calling balls and strikes than have these umps fuck the game up. Just let that computer call it. Take out the human element on that part, and let's go with the human element on everything else. I love it. Because the challenge, the damn catcher is right almost every time. And the batter's got a good chance. Like I see the point, but fuck, let's just let the computer deal with it. Game would get a lot faster. Home plate ump needs to wear VR glasses. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, that just reads the strike zone. Agree. That would be cool. Then they would have a purpose for sitting behind the plate. I just have a hard time putting the guy behind the plate if he's not going to be doing his job. But if he's calling based on what the computer shows, that would make sense. And now he's already in place for plays at the plate. Red Wings good this year. Playoffs in a few weeks. Yeah, buddy. It's been a while. The Red Wings were so dominant for so long. They needed some humble years. I think they finally got tired of it. The Knight said, "Yeah, let the computer call it, just like the computer called the 100% match at the casino." It still probably do better than a human, brother. Still probably do better than a human. Williams, he said, "I will say Lions fans are troopers. So great dedication." Yeah, you gotta be. I try to tell people, I'm like, look, I will tell you this: when I watch the Lions, I'm always waiting with a humorous mindset. I'm always waiting for when they're going to screw it up, or the refs are going to screw it up for us. Because nobody's been screwed over by the refs more than the Detroit Lions. And that's not my bias speaking. I want you to go back and look at how many major rule changes have been because of a Lions game, and has changed the way, like the whole way, catching the ball all the way to the ground. Like, think of that one. That was from Megatron. Like, there's a lot of rules that have happened because of Lions games where the Lions lose, but would have benefited them later on. Crazy shit. Thanks to the Russians. Yeah. Love it. Oh, where are we at? How much time we got? We've been at an hour and a half. I think we, I didn't do any videos tonight because I just knew the internet connection wasn't going to be that great. But just looking at questions. Just curious, how did you feel about pushing or phasing out police chasing? I do not agree with phasing out police chasing. I do believe that police chases need to be limited. I don't think you should chase for everything. I think if it's a stolen car, some sort of violent offender, some sort of, articulable, imminent danger to the public, yeah, you need to chase those guys. But I don't think you need to chase some dude because he, California rolled a stop sign. He was going 60 and a 40, whatever it is. Like, basic traffic shit. I don't think you need to chase him for that. You need to have more. Do I agree that there's probably more to it and that's why they're running? Yeah, there probably is. But if all of I got do a traffic offense, it ain't worth it. There's a video who was getting a ticket. I don't know what it was for. And as the cop hands her the ticket that she's obviously pissed off about, she takes the ticket and chunks it out the window. Now you got littering, so he's going to arrest her for littering. That ends up being a use of force. He ends up physically removing this lady from the car. You got her name, you got her information. Just send her another citation in the mail. Don't get into a use of force. Do you have just because you can, and I agree he had the right to do what he did, doesn't mean you should. Because you knew that this was going to turn into a thing. And for me, I'm like, man, I know I have the right to, but I got an alternate means I can handle this. And this comes with experience. Like, I'm just going to be like, all right, we'll add another charge and we'll send that in the mail. So it's just this. It's the same when it comes to these traffic ticket stuff. Figure out, and they run. You just figure out who they are. Hopefully you can. Maybe you won't. You're going to catch them eventually. And again, I'm not saying my way is the right way. There's going to be cops that hear me say that and they'll be like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you my preference. William said, yeah, I believe this goes back to what you said earlier about things not being black and white. Completely agree with you. Yeah. I'm telling you, early in my career, I was oh my God, you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was right about everything. You get humbled with time. That's all time does, is humble you. I'm like, this is the law. This is what it says. Was I technically right? Probably. But just because you're right doesn't mean you're right. It's hard to say. Zane. Hate to tell you, brother, this is all All English. I have no idea what you said there, bro. Hopefully it was something cool. But I will tell you, Zane, the whole point of a message is so other people receive it. They can understand. If you're going to send a message, send something that we understand. Otherwise, you just wasted your time. I'll tell you what. Maybe somebody in the chat can figure out what that says. Oh, he speaks English. Zane, say it in English. I don't speak that. I am curious what it says, though. Maybe it's something really cool. He said, okay, sir. I love, see, and he's respectful. Good guy. I like that. Jenna Cooper joined. Zane said, ha ha. All police cars need to be black and white. I disagree with that, sir. I don't agree with that at all. It's not a lot of advantages we can get with Mr. Bill. I'm dyslexic and damn give a don't. You fucker. Yeah. How do you feel about the George Floyd case thing? Officer got railroaded, loaded, or bad policing? I think it was a mix of both. I think it was stupid to get him out of the car. I would have rather you just drove down the road, get away from a crowd, and get the guy medical attention if he needed it then. No need to sit there with your knee nailed across his neck. Do I think that guy was actually putting any real pressure on his neck? No, I don't. And I only know that from doing jiu-jitsu as long as I can, or I have. I honestly don't think that he was applying pressure. I think he just had his neck trapped where the shin and like his foot was planted. I think he was trained that way. I think they proved that he was trained that way. Some book came out later that showed that the police department suppressed the updated or the old book that he learned from versus the updated thing that they tried to pass. But I think the way he handled it was poor. I think he was looking at that crowd trying to tell them, you're not going to tell me how to police. But at the same time, I think Mr. Floyd was on a whole strew of fucking dope. And I think that attributed majorly to why he had a problem. So just the way I saw that. Steve said, police cars should be identifiable. I disagree. I think it depends on what they're doing. I think if you're out running traffic on the freeway and, okay, I'll put it this way. Let's say a cop is running radar on foot behind a tree. He's clearly in a police uniform and he's behind a tree running radar. And he's radioing a mile down the road. Yep, I got a green F-150 with a big blue sticker on the side. And then they see it and they pull him over. He was doing 100 in a 60. So you got a guy going 40 over. No one's going to have a problem with that. No one's going to have a problem with that. But all of a sudden, if a guy's running radar and he's in I call him ghosted because most of the time it does say police on there. It's just, you have to hit the light just right. And it's like that ghost print on there. But if they're running in that, now people have a problem because you couldn't readily identify the car that was parked off the side of the road. But if a cop is sitting behind a tree and he's in a uniform and he's radioing to clearly marked cops down the road, what's the fucking difference? What's the difference? It's not a difference. And here's the other part. I'm with you when it comes to tickets. I don't write them. I haven't written a ticket in probably 10, 12, maybe even 15 years. I don't know. But for every one of you that are complaining about cops doing that, writing tickets, you have to understand there is 2 to 4 times more people complaining that the cops aren't in that specific spot writing tickets. Who's right? You or the citizens that are complaining that we're not? Because I guarantee they outnumber you. More often than not, the complaints that we're not doing that outnumber you that doesn't like it. And that was a fact that was brought to me that I blew my mind. I didn't know that when I first started out in policing. It took me a while to learn that. So who's right? How do you tell another set of citizens that they're wrong? But I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of generating revenue for the state or the city or whatever it is, because the cops don't get that money. Not where I'm at. I don't think cops get that money. Period. Oh, my wifey texts me. Oh, she's sending me pictures of my kiddos from a while ago. Look at my kids. Look how cute they are. Little princesses. So yeah. Let's see. Zane said, officers, is America policing doing the right thing or not? Are they arresting and sending back others who come from outside? I can't really give you that answer. I don't know. I'm not going to say no, they don't. I don't believe they are. I don't think that's even in their scope of their job. Now, what they can do is detain based on detainers for, like, let's say ICE. Like in Texas, what I have seen is that, let's say I arrest a dude for a domestic. Go to the house, they're having this big domestic. He'd beat his wife. I arrest him, take him to the jail, and then we do this extensive background check on them. And then we find out there's an ICE detainer. Well, what we do is we notify ICE, hey, this guy's got a detainer. He's here if you want to come get him. But he'll only be here for, 36 hours or 72 hours, whatever it is that the jail takes to process him. So it's on them. It's on them to go do that. That's their job. It's not our job. Free said, Eric, I want to say seriously that I have a lot of respect for you coming live here, knowing people may give you shit, and you always seem to respond reasonably regardless of their view. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much. I think it's a lot to do with just doing the job for as long as I've done it. I don't think I've always had the ability to do that. People have gotten me wrapped up plenty, but over time I've just gotten it. I've just gotten used to it, I guess. Zane over on Instagram said, is officers, ICE, police okay? This will have a huge impact on America. Those small-time workers who have come from outside are being caught and sent away. India has become better, or the other workers who work. I think we're having a slight translation issue. I'm having a little hard time, Zane, to understand what you're asking me. It's not that I think your English is bad or anything like that. I just think the way it's coming across isn't complete thought. So I don't understand what you're asking me, brother. Police get portions of proceeds from civil asset forfeiture. That's true. Civil asset forfeiture. That's hard to say. Civil asset forfeiture. That is true. As a sheriff in Texas, pennies from heaven. That is true. That is a thing. Like if you seize a drug dealer's car or whatever, like an agency can take that. That's true. But that's not writing tickets on the freeway. That's a different thing. That money does not go to the police. I think that's the whole reason why it doesn't. But I can see I can 6-7. I can see the problem on both sides with asset forfeiture, because now it's an incentive for police to get stuff because now the agency can get that stuff. But I also see that it saves the community money and stuff from criminals. That's the hope, that they're actually getting the stuff from real criminals, and they shouldn't be able to have this stuff through their criminal enterprises that they're getting it. I see it both ways. That's a hard one. That's a good topic. Maybe that should be an episode one night. We talk about civil asset forfeiture. Because I did that myself. I've I've only ever done it one time because I wanted the experience, but I found this Jordanian crew that were going around getting catalytic converters off of people's cars, and kind of like, and they were buying catalytic converters um, off of Facebook Marketplace, and they were going state to state. And what they were doing was they would take all these catalytic converters in this van. They had like one of those Mercedes Benz, like I don't know, cargo vans type thing, and they were going state to state buying catalytic converters from people, which obviously pushed the black market for it. And then I found out that they were funneling that money to terrorist groups over in Jordan. It was crazy. Like, this whole time I thought I was going after tweakers that were just looking for their next fix. Turns out this was some sort of international terrorist funded conspiracy thing where catalytic converters were funding major things. It was nuts. Anyway, I did a asset excuse me. I did an asset forfeiture on their van. Dude, all the paperwork, we were told that it was all legit, and we still didn't get the van. It would have been a great undercover vehicle for us because we like to do marketplace buybacks. We do undercover work where we would go, your stuff will get stolen. We would find it on Facebook Marketplace, and then we'd go buy it from the people that were selling it. And we, you don't want to be in a police car. Again, another reason why cops don't need to be in clearly marked vehicles all the time. But yeah, I wanted that van for that because it fit in, it blended, it would have been a good car, and it wouldn't have been a taxpayer's dime. I don't know where that van went, but we sure shit didn't get it. So, William said, what do you think would help prevent school shootings more? Oh, damn, that's a hard question, brother. Let teachers do their job. That's one. Teachers walk on eggshells. No doubt about it. Teachers walk on eggshells. They're the one field that I think has it worse than police when it comes to being able to do their job. Because now you're talking about the protected class, which is minors, and some of these minors are as big as adults and act like fucking shitheads. And cops and teachers can't, even when they defend themselves, they get fired. It's insane. So let teachers do their job. Right now, you've got no incentive for them to ever even really get to know the students. And I think if you let teachers really become a part of what they're doing, they can see the signs and symptoms. I don't know. That's my next idea. I think a lot of the controlled entries is great, making sure the doors are locked. The Uvalde thing, one of the things we learned that was a big mistake there was a door that was propped open. People got complacent, and they paid for it. Like, when I go to my kid's school, I can't get in that thing. I've shown up in uniform before, and they still don't let me in. I got to show my ID at the thing, the like, put your ID up to the video thing. You go into a controlled entry where now you're kind of like stuck in limbo. So that door behind you shuts and locks, and then they'll unlock the next door and let you in. Insane. Metal detectors in school or private security. I don't know if that really would make a difference. I think it helps. Mr. Billfold said, I know Brandar, I was consolidating to make a point to air things that have happened to lots of folks who were not criminals, and then the law never claimed any illegal activity occurred. Yeah, and that is part of the problem with the asset forfeiture stuff. It's like, where is the checks and balances when it comes to, maybe that's the way you start dealing with asset forfeitures. There needs to be better checks and balances to ensure the stuff that you're trying to get actually is dealing with a illegal activity. Faisal, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, over on Instagram says, is it okay to drive 125 kilometers an hour on the 401 first lane? And what will be the max limit before it turns to pull over? Please don't say 100. Well, I don't. If you're not talking in freedom units, I don't know. I don't know what 125 kilometers an hour is. Here in the US of A, we go by freedom speed, which is miles per hour. So I don't know. I'm just giving you some shit. Don't take offense. But I don't know. I don't know what the difference of that is. What's 125 kilometers an hour, y'all? Tell me what the speed limit is. What's the speed limit? Another word could be stealing. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Could be. Absolutely could be. Yeah, my mom. How many miles per hour is that? Schools are a gun-free zone, so people know they're vulnerable. Let's arm the staff. Kids don't need to know about it. As long as they're trained. I don't have a problem with arming the staff as long as they're trained and they have to uphold regular requirements. With that said, something to consider is there's regular requirements for cops, and I've seen the way some cops shoot, and that's part of their job description. So, food for thought. Mr. Bilfold said, legally, I can see the argument. Since your children are forced to be in school, the police should have the same obligation to protect them while they're in state custody as a criminal is. How many liters are there in kilometers? Brandar said 120 kilometers is about 70-ish miles per hour. Stinson, okay, here we go. And it looks like the speed limit is 100. So you're doing 25. Look, I will tell you this, Faisal. My opinion is the bigger picture. If you're traveling, if it's 100 kilometers per hour and you're traveling in the fast lane, I don't know which fast lane is yours. There's nobody ahead of you and you're not weaving in and out of traffic, I don't have a problem with it, period. You're driving in a straight line. You're at your safest. So I don't really have a thing for that. He said, apologies. I thought you were a Canadian cop. No, sir. Although I have visited Canada plenty of times. If you guys have never had Canadian poutine, I know it sounds dirty, but if you've never had it, it is amazing. Some French fries with some gravy and some cheese. Whew. That is some comfort food. Freeman agreed, Eric. They need to be trained. Yeah, I agree. They should definitely be trained. It angers me that our politicians are protected better than our children. Well, since Uvalde, at least in Texas, the schools are required to be manned by police. I don't know about the whole nation, but police officers, and that's all schools. So let's put a hard strain on some of these departments that don't have a whole lot of manpower. Eric has a Canadian mustache. How dare you? I have an American mustache, sir. Kidding me? How dare you? In Japan, lane closest to yellow lane is passing lane. Poutine is overrated. Give me biscuits and gravy. Shut your mouth. Now, I'm not going to lie. Biscuits and gravy is great as well. They're both great. You just haven't had good poutine, sir. Ryan said, that's good news at least. Yeah, I agree. I think that was a smart move. I don't understand why it wasn't like that before. I don't know. In Germany, even on the Autobahn, if you're speeding and cause an accident, you're 100% responsible. Well, yeah, that's how it should be. I think that's how it is everywhere. If you cause the accident, you're responsible. William Z said, so what jurisdictions allow a cop to go off duty to on duty on the spot? I couldn't answer that. In Texas, even though my jurisdiction is my city, the whole state I have authority in. So if I act as a cop and so let's say I have my gun and badge on me, it still counts. I'm not going to do that because I'm not an idiot. It does open you up for a lot of litigation and issues, especially if it's, if I walk in and there's a bank robbery happening and I got my badge and gun and I feel like I have a tactical advantage and it's a good play. I don't have my kids with me or something like that to consider. And I make a move. Okay, cool. I had the authority to do that. So I hope that answers your question. The mustache was called the Canadian Creeper. Hey, so just so you guys, Nat, one of my mods, she is. I put some on the Discord channel, at least for the mod section. I put some T-shirt concepts. Maybe that's something we could add to it. Could do like a little white outline of me with just the mustache and call it the Canadian Creeper. We can call that triangular mustache the Geneva Suggestion. Are the electric bike laws tough to navigate there? Yeah, I won't lie. I don't understand them. To me, I thought the electric bikes were just like a regular bike in a way. Unless you operate them on a public roadway. Like to me, an electric bike could go on the sidewalk just like a regular bike. So, but I don't know the rules. There's some people. I'd posted a comment on another video where this girl had rode her electric bike, and this dude like grabbed her and like stopped her and was like, "You can't do this." Da 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 da. And I'm like, "Bro, you can't. One, you can't grab people. Two, she's not doing anything wrong. You got to get the fuck out of her way. You guys were all posted up on this sidewalk with your tripods and all this shit. It's a public sidewalk. You're obstructing it. She's riding on it." And people are like, "You can't have an electric bike on the sidewalk." And I'm like, "Oh shit, maybe that's a law wherever they're at." I have never heard of that. I don't know. I don't know enough about them. They're so new. Brandar said, "Eric, question about your video from today. Why do a larger number of officers have bald heads in comparison to the civilian population? Thoughts on this phenomenon?" If that's a truth statement, I don't know. To exactly what that guy said. Like, a lot of them are going bald, and it's just a better look. I don't know. That's that guy. Oh my God. If you guys haven't seen that video I posted, it says passive aggressive fail on cop. And one guy took it the wrong way. I'm not saying the cop failed. I'm saying the guy that tried this. He's trying to get this guy trapped into being a skinhead. And it's just a bald cop that shaves his head because he's balding. And he says that. And what I really liked about it is this guy, his emotional intelligence level and his ability to talk to this guy, no matter how much he's trying to passively aggressively aggravate him. It was so awesome. It was just great professional talk. Is how I hope most cops would deal with somebody trying to aggravate them. And you could tell, complete failure what this guy's goal was. And I really liked it. I thought the cop did a good job, but I put that up there. And he's just trying to pin this cop into a corner of why him and a lot of cops shave their head. Like it's some subliminal, Nazi thing or something. I don't know. But such a dumb thing. And he's trying to say in the majority of cops, or a lot of the cops around the nation are bald, and it seems to be a trend. I'm like, if that's a thing, I don't know. And then I had a couple firefighters chime in, and he's like, they would not appreciate the rates of firefighters then, because apparently a lot of firefighters are losing their hair. Brandar said, "I think balding is from juicing. More cops than often take chems for their strength training roids." William said, "So if you want, you can go on duty for any crime committed in front of you in your style, right?" I wouldn't. No, I don't think all departments I know of have a policy like you should. If you start jaywalking, I'm not going to use my authority in another jurisdiction to go stop your jaywalking. If that makes sense. But if it's a violent felony that's happening in front of me, I kind of have a duty to do something. As long as I have a way to do it. I'm not going to go unarmed against 3 dudes with AKs, but if I'm armed and I see a guy trying to use a knife to rob the bank, I'm like, yeah, got to do something. Faisal said, "Since you're an American cop, one question for you. If a president like Donald Trump publicly pressures police to be tougher, should police follow that political message, stay strictly neutral?" No, police should be neutral. There's no way police should ever be guided by politics. They should do what Their state laws are telling them they are allowed to do, and keep it by the law, not by politics. Mr. Billfold, I've never juiced Brandar, and I have a hairline like the beach after a hurricane. It's DHT genetics, my man. David Edmondson finally joined in. Just got home. What did I miss? You missed it all, brother. It's been one of the best podcasts we've ever had. Hello from the Netherlands, from Make DG on Instagram. See, that's why I love doing what we do, y'all. We have people, we have a pretty big community in the UK. We have a pretty big community in Brazil. We have a very big community in Australia. Very big. Pretty big community in Canada. Netherlands, never would have known. I do know we have a couple people out of Greenland and Iceland, but never knew we had an audience out of the Netherlands. It's always cool when I see new places joining. Very cool. Thank you, Meg. Appreciate you, brother. Hope I said that correctly. Or ma'am. I can't tell from this little view that I got here. Eric, crack another beer. What did it say? Crack another beer. We'll wait while you grab another one. I got another one right next to me. I wasn't going to get up and go get it. Mama didn't raise no fool. This one's on its last sip. Make said, and I also work with cops, brother. Oh, very cool. Faisal said, sorry if I'm asking you a lot. Your personal thoughts on Zoran Mamdani's leadership. I don't like it. I don't like it because there was an officer, and I talked about this call earlier. They got called to a mental health call, and he knew it was a mental health call, and he gets there, and the guy charges at him with a knife. He actually stabbed the cop. The cop was able to shut this door and get that between him and the guy while he's trying to tell him to drop the knife. The guy breaks through the door. He ends up having to shoot the cop. Or he ends up having to shoot the mental health guy. And Mamdani goes and visits that guy in the hospital and never visits the cop. So I have a huge problem with that. That sends a message. It's one of those things you say a lot without saying anything. And I find, and then he even went on to say, that this should have never happened. Now, he's not calling out the cop saying that he did wrong, but it was a bad look. It's bad leadership. I don't like that. That cop got put in and this was when he was, brand new to his position. It was a chance to really bridge gaps that people were worried about with him in policing. Because if you guys know, there was a few thousand people that jumped ship when he got voted in. And I don't know shit about New York. So if they're jumping ship, I don't know. Okay, is what it is. But, he said, I'm a dude, and it's pronounced Mike. Okay, very cool. Not make. I kept saying make. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of his leadership style after that. It's the only example I have, though. And, Eric, do you think officers give other officers more discretion than civilians? Yes. Yeah, for sure. In my experience, yeah, they do. Now, I've seen cops that stood on business and like, no, I'm not. So, they just wrote 20 tickets and then they pulled over a cop and they're like, get out of here. And I'm like, why'd you do that? So I do my discretion based on what I consider. It's hard to say. You just have to be in the moment. But I try to do what I think is fair at the moment. I try to stay as consistent as I can. Mr. Billfold said, in that video you didn't get a chance to watch, Eric, the cop who killed the kid, and like 6 other cops were charged. One got 3 years. Family got 19 million. Damn. Good for them. Ryan said, Eric, I should ask you this every stream. What books are you reading right now? I'm reading Lonesome Dove. Great. I love all. I've watched all Lonesome Dove. Love it. I never read the book, but I am currently reading The Weakest Beast Tamer, I think it's called. Let me make sure I got that 100%. It is called Weakest Beast Tamer Gets All the SSS Dragons. I like it. It's kind of a fantasy thing. Fantasy, magic, stuff like that. I'm getting feedback on my headphones all of a sudden. I don't like it. Oh, I bet it's because of my phone. 10-4. Can you hear me? Do you guys hear any feedback? Let me know. I'm hearing feedback in my headphones all of a sudden. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I got electric going too close to my headphones, but I'm hearing it. Anyway, I think it's wild to blame the guy who would literally, in most cases, to defend you through gunfire and everything. I think Mike was asking, so what do I do on the force? I am a real-time crime center supervisor now. So I'm a sergeant over our real-time crime center. Eric is weird. Thanks a lot. He called the police, and in 911 recording, he's telling the dispatcher that he has a knife and had to kill skinwalkers. Holy shit. The Weakest Beast Tamer is an audio series on YouTube. Yes, it is. Yes, that's what I don't read. I listen. I don't retain when I read. I'm an audio and kinesthetic learner. Clear as a bell here. Okay, good. It's just me then. I haven't read too much fantasy, mostly sci-fi. I'm real big into, like, there's a movie coming out of a book that I listened to a while back called Hail Mary. So I'm really excited to see their interpretation of the book. Normally you're let down because the books are usually better. That's been my experience. Eric, in the live stream chat on Discord, I shared the story about Georgetown that gets 73% of its revenue from traffic violations. That is crazy. I just spilled beer all over the front of my shirt. I've only had one beer. Oh, shit. Ever had a case you couldn't explain, like supernatural? No. I will tell you, okay, I don't know if I've told you guys this story. I will tell you about my military experience working with nuclear missiles out in Montana. So the way, without giving away any OPSEC, but the way that these nuke sites are, they have alarms. If an alarm goes off, you go out and you check it, and then, you have to go out and stay around that site for a while just to make sure no other bullshit happens. So while we're out there, we may or may not have been looking up at the stars on a nice summer night in Montana, and I see a satellite going across the sky. And so I pointed out to my partner, hey, check out that satellite. That's cool to see, because you can see everything in the sky in Montana. There's no light pollution. So I'm showing that to him. And he's like, that's a satellite? It's like, yeah, you can tell because a shooting star will do this. Satellites stay on the same trajectory. They move at a sustained pace. Like, you can just tell. And so a little bit later, he points out one. Dick Peter memes, that mustache is weird. I know. So he points out a satellite. And I'm looking, I'm like, yep, that's a satellite. And then he's like, look, there's one right behind it. And so we're looking at the satellites together. And I'm like, oh, shit. That's weird. I've never seen two that close together. Well, the one in front starts to pull away, like it's going faster, like it picked up speed somehow. And then the other one started to match it. I'm like, that's fucking weird. And as far as I know, when it comes to satellites, I can't tell you if they can pick up speed or not pick up speed. I don't think they can. I think they have a set speed once they get into an orbit. I'm not a scientist. I don't know, but I think that's fairly true. But that's neither here nor there, because the next thing I see is this head satellite veer course and make almost a U-turn and then start going. And the other one did like kind of an intercepting route where it turned as well, but sooner, and like tried to meet it. And then the next thing I know, they took off in another direction to the point we couldn't see them anymore. I still don't know to this day what the fuck that was. So why not? Nope, Malmstrom, sir. Malmstrom in Montana. It was crazy. Mike asked, what's your most crazy case? Mine was a raid on a drug lab. I'd say my most crazy call, and I've talked about this before, but my most crazy call was a potential stolen car, which it was a stolen car, that turned out to be like Breaking Bad. And I'll give you the quick of it. Is basically, it turned out this lady was dying from pancreatic cancer. She was trying to get as much money as she could. She got linked up with her old high school friend who was into meth and all that stuff. It had Aryan ties. Then Aryan ties led her to being able to get connected with the cartel rather quickly. She was trafficking guns state to state, trying to make as much money as she could for her daughter before she died. And so we found her. So this is a short version of it. And that's what happened. Crazy case. Radio comms and satellites are one of my specialties. See, high altitude spy planes. No, they were. I'm telling y'all, they were at star level. They were so far up in it was crazy. It's not reasonable to think that this little marble holds the only life forms. There has to be others out there. I agree. Mathematically speaking, there has to be. If everything's as big as the scientists claim. We're really trusting them that they really know what the hell they're talking about. I can't prove them wrong. How do you deal with calls when the person that called obviously lied? How do I deal with calls when they obviously lied? Most of the time, if I figure out that they're lying, I start flipping the questions to a point where they have to come to that conclusion with me. That's what I'll try to do. Okay, you said there was a person that passed right here, but when I turned back and watched the neighbor's video, nobody passed by that at that time. Nobody's passed by in the last half hour. You called 10 minutes ago, said that this happened 15 minutes ago. Oh, well, my time was off. Well, I made sure of that because I checked the video back 2 hours and nobody passed by. So you just kind of make them come to the realization with you without calling them liars. I try not to do that because I don't want to escalate things. Sometimes you just get people that are lonely and they just want some human contact. And I try to keep that mindset. And you figure it out. And then you get some people that are, you'll get a Karen that's trying to build something on somebody. And I got no problem calling them out because I figured out pretty quick. Okay, we've got a history here. This person keeps calling on this neighbor. Go talk to the neighbor. The neighbor's a reasonable person. You see their stuff, and then you go over to the Karen. The Karen's being unreasonable. You can tell that she's making some shit up. The problem is if I were to try to write them up for filing a false police report, it would get dropped. And that's the court system. There are some satellites that can be moved at a moment's notice, but stuff like that seriously limits their lifespan. That makes sense. If they get them to write a report, then charge them for filing a false. Yeah, I would love to, but the courts won't do it because they don't want to. The whole argument that I've been told my whole career is you don't want to try to shy someone away from filing an actual report when real stuff happens because they got busted for filing a false police report before. I think it's stupid logic, but I'm not the courts. I can't do anything about that. If the taillight is PC, should not their liar be charged? I agree. Again, you see kind of some of the problems we deal with as cops. I'm not trying to cop-splain, but it's a frustration as a cop. I can tell you what, there's a lot of false police reports we could file. Just will never go through. What are you into tonight? I am into some Hazacus Maximus Hazy IPA by Lagunitas. It is 9%. Oh, I didn't even know that. It's a strong beer. Oh no, revenue. I get it. I'm in the mindset that I'm of the mindset that should other life make it here, they stayed away and watched us destroy ourselves. Possible. Mike said, I have to, brother. It was cool to. Oh, I think he's saying I have to go, brother. It was cool talking to you. Hope we talk again. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you from the Netherlands. Very cool. Eric, find a way to at least show the Insta chats on the YouTube. I don't know how. I don't know why they're not showing up. Can't. I'm a one-man show right now, so I don't have Alan. I don't have Deadleg. I can't help it. But a lot of cops in Texas aren't told they cannot arrest for failure to ID with no crime. Yeah, you ain't wrong. Shit, bro. It ain't just Texas, is it? It ain't just Texas. I feel like we do better than most, but I think we go in streaks where I'm just like, God damn, no, we don't. Hit that like button. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's crazy out there how shitty we do on some things that I think we have a good grasp on. And turns out we don't. We don't. Ugh. I heard my phone vibrating. I'm trying to keep it away from the mic. I don't want it to give any feedback. We need Auto on here to have a 3902 class or a 3802 class. There you go. Yeah, I'm down to have Auto on. The problem is follow through. We get a lot of people like, yeah, I'll be on. And then either they expect me to go chasing them and figure it out. I got too much going on the platform to chase people down. Like I need you to meet me in the middle. I'm not blaming anybody. I just think we all have those. You got shit going on, and I understand if two cops one donut is not your top thought. That makes sense, and you've got plenty of content that you can deal with. Like me, I've got plenty of content to deal with, so I don't necessarily have priorities all the time for other people. Do you have a funniest call? Oh my God, I got so many funny calls. Well, that's the thing is they're funny to me. A lot of them may be gross to y'all, but that's for another time. I think we've talked enough war stories tonight. Oh man, like in Clearly Established latest video. I haven't watched that. Texas is bad, but lucky for them, Arkansas and Mississippi exist, so they will never make it to the podium of shame. Yeah, shit, you haven't even gotten to the East Coast and I call it the Northeast areas, but they're kind of called the Midwest, but Chicago, Michigan areas, Detroit and all them, like I think they fuck it up a lot. Mr. Billfold, there's a video of a sergeant reading the law verbatim and still not seeing he cannot get an ID. Just reads the false ID part, and thinks it's justification for arrest for not IDing. Like the cutout pocket. What are we talking about, Harrison? Like the cutout pocket? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Twitch said, I was mad at myself for falling asleep and missing most of tonight, but it's hard to know when to be available with current situation. Yeah. Well, especially with me. I don't really give my mods a whole lot of heads up sometimes when I'm doing impromptus like this. So that's my bad. Mr. Billfold said, I know it was the dog in the car video. So, all right, guys. We are at 2.5 hours. So I think I'm going to call it for tonight. I do appreciate everybody jumping on. I appreciate any of the donations that happened tonight. I think Craig was the one that came in with the 10 tonight. William dropped a question before I jump off. He said, what do you think about these videos of cops writing cops tickets and other cops getting mad? I think if you're a cop getting a ticket and you're getting mad, that's on you. Don't do things that cause you to get tickets. I can tell you right now, I have been pulled over for speeding and got lucky, and the cop decided not to write me a ticket. But I fully was willing to accept it because it was my fault. I was speeding. Can't get mad at him. It's not his fault. I did it. So, but Freeman said, thanks, Eric. See y'all soon. Great stream. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Be sure, like, subscribe, follow, do all those things. I'm going to make sure I download the audio for this, and we'll put this audio out on our podcast for those that like to listen. And hopefully you enjoy that as well. Mr. Billfold, I drank 2 shots of tequila that were gifted to me. Nice. And be sure to join our Discord, guys. But other than that, y'all, I appreciate you. Thanks for dealing with my crappy internet, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.